Alright there, fellas. I've been sidestepping this text-based adventure project in every way possible, trying to avoid confronting it because I have been at a loss at what sort of a platform I should be using to pull this off. Should it be embedded with a microcontroller? Should it be running like a beefier microcontroller, sort of? Should it be running on like a Raspberry Pi, which is of course not here? I hit a dead end. I can't figure out what the hell I should be basing on, and I think it's high time I've stared the bull in the eye and tried to do something about it, because otherwise I don't see this going anywhere. So let's figure this out. The name of the game is, well, either I figure this out and get this up and running, or I just put a nail in the coffin of this project and forget about it, because I can't have it be sitting in the back of my mind. So let's see if we can get this to work.
So it's been a hot minute since I've given this little project a go, and this has been kind of a long on and off endeavor of experimentation with different mediums, different types of devices. This is the text-based adventure game. Now, last time I made an update about this little project, you saw me messing around with the ESP32, and while that approach was probably yielding the most results, it was also the most challenging to deal with when it comes to resource management, because we're talking about a game, even though it's a text-based game, there's still a lot of text that needs to be handled, and that text has to be stored somewhere. We have to load it, we have to process it, we have to involve maybe dictionaries to make it easy to traverse it without losing our damn minds, and that's where I decided to try to use the ESP32 in order to handle everything, but alas, I'm gonna need that. Alas, I feel like I would just be digging a very finite hole with this, and once I hit the bottom, there's not a whole lot I can do. So, back to the drawing board. I can technically keep this, because this is a little MCP, what is it? MCP, what? Yep, MCP 28017 or 23017. This is a little extender, I/O extender, that allows me to add a whole bunch of buttons, and these are all the aforementioned buttons, of course soldered diagonally because I botched the wiring on the real buttons that were supposed to go here. Leave that for next time. So I can still use this for sure as my keyboard input, but I need a better brains for this project. I have done enough experimentation with the microcontroller side to kind of get an idea that maybe I don't want to use the microcontroller side, but I've also done enough experimentation with the Raspberry Pi side to know that I don't want to use the Raspberry Pi side. And mainly, it's not the capabilities of the Raspberry Pi, it's the accessibility to the schematics and availability of parts. During the pandemic, I had a very clear glance that if I'm going to be relying on Raspberry Pis for, well, supplying the demand for the project, if there is any, I'm going to be stuck in a precarious position, waiting for stock to become available, or, finding existing projects and gutting the Raspberry Pis from those just so I can keep up the stock. So I decided to try something else. I decided to go with one of the alternatives, which is the Libre computer board. Never used this. Apparently it should be a drop-in replacement. I am pretty much excited to give this a go. And what does it come with? HDMI 2, that's going to be perfect for the screen. We've got quad-core ARM processor. We've got, what do we got? 40-pin low-speed header, which is perfectly fine for our case, and all the usual solutions, 100 megabit fast Ethernet, all the good jazz. This is going to be perfect. So let's see if I can get this baby up and running. Now we're gonna try to do this without disturbing the myriad of micro experiments I've got going on in the background. It is what it is, folks. Ah. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Logically, this would be as simple as just plugging in the SD card, micro SD card with the operating system on it, and plugging in the micro USB port. Let's give it a try. Looks like we got the AML S905XCC. And there we go. AML X905XCC. Si, senor. Right here. Ooh, that's a lot of selection. I suppose good old reliable. Or maybe not. Oh. Hey, there we go. Just gonna download this image. Bop, bop, boppity bop. In the meantime, for testing purposes, I think we'll go with... what do we got here? Oh, yes. Oh, maybe not this one. Sure. Nah, you know what? We're gonna go for something a bit more tried and tested. Oh god. The grime on this one. This is a good old Raspberry Pi 1. I was using it as a little Twitter bot until someone billionaire decided to make the API fully paid. That was a fantastic day. Luckily, I still have the original peel on this thing, and I'm not taking this thing off until the very last possible moment. I will withstand all the grime and dirt and jizz and everything, but I will not peel off that plastic. Alrighty, there we go. Just finished burning it on the SD card. Display comes with this really cool modular ribbon HDMI cable. I really like to use these for this kind of a project, so should be fairly straightforward. For the time being, we're going to be powering the display using USB port, but I'd like to move it to a dedicated power source. Pop in the SD card. Alright, like that click. Plug in the power. Although I gotta say, I'm never a fan of the micro USB port on these projects. I feel like I'm gonna just yank it out of there. Yeah, especially in this case. Jesus Christ, man. Okay. And... oh. I see some... hey, there it is. I can't see shit. But that's fine, because now we can figure out how to SSH into this thing and change the resolution and get all the good stuff done. Okay, maybe I should connect an external monitor for the time being. Hey, look at that goodness. Now, you may not necessarily tell the difference, but this last step actually took me 2 days to figure out. And this will be the step of how do I actually get something drawn on the screen. You see, I have tried all sorts of things. I've tried Pygame, I've tried Qt, I've tried a lot of interesting outlets and solutions and libraries. Dear God, that monitor is dirty as shit. But it all was oriented to work on something that has a desktop environment and not, just a console window. So I have made this work once a year ago. I have no idea how I actually got it to work, but I figured it out today. So I have created a little script which runs on SDL, a simple direct media layer, and this is basically what Pygame is made out of, but I decided to go down to the roots, so to speak. Instead of using Pygame, I just use SDL and try to shave off any extra processing that I could save on. And all I did is, initiated SDL, created a window, made the window show, and it's important to make it be hidden right here. We have to make it be hidden, otherwise it doesn't really show up, because we're running in a graphical user less environment. We're basically running in just a console version, no desktop, no window manager, nothing. We created a renderer. This was an important point, and we're using software rendering, at least for the time being. We have created the sprite factory, which is for handling sprite data. Told it to use a little tester image. We clear the render, tell the sprite to output at the position of 100 by 100 pixels, and we present the renderer, and then we sleep for 3 seconds. This is literally it. So if I go and let's do quit and then clear, and then I can do Python 3 lonesome trail.py. We got a start, and we got something. We got a blink screen basically, but it is something. Oh, and I just realized that I actually ran the wrong program. The program is LT2, Lonesome Trail 2. So we hit enter, and Freud. Perfect. And then it quits. I cannot even begin to describe how absolutely mind-bogglingly excited I am now that I have a Linux-based solution rather than, a microcontroller-based solution, and it's a Linux-based solution that isn't a Raspberry Pi. And to me, that's important because this shit was unavailable all throughout the majority of the pandemic, because everybody knows what a Raspberry Pi is. Not everybody knows what a Libre computer is, so this was a lot more available, and it's actually a lot cheaper, relatively speaking. So, holy crap, we actually finally have a foundation that I can now build upon. The closest I've ever gotten to having some sort of a foundation was when I had this whole project be based on the Raspberry Pi, and I had the display running, I had the Python application running, but unfortunately I destroyed the Raspberry Pi because I didn't practice safe connections and disabling everything and turning everything on before soldering stuff onto, and of course when I destroyed the Pi, I realized that there aren't a lot of Pis available at the time. So that kind of led me down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out, well, maybe we don't use a Raspberry Pi, maybe we just use like an MCU or some microcontroller or something. Maybe we try some other alternatives. I tried BeagleBone, I tried the Pi compute modules. I destroyed like a couple of those, and the biggest problem is that I could not, just for the life of me, get Linux to behave, to output the video. I couldn't get it to work, but now I did, and I'm happy that I did. I'm happy that I might just be able to work with Linux for this project, simply because it will handle everything important for me. It will handle memory management, it will handle media playback, so sound effects and music playback, sprite displaying and all that good jazz. It will handle everything for me. I just have to run the right commands and I'll be good, because I was staring down the barrel of using like GFX, or what is it called, like Adafruit GFX libraries, to try to display some little tiny sprites, and then I'd have to do a lot of memory management on the microcontroller. It would just not be, it would not be fun. So Linux, I got it working. Finally. Alright, let's take a look at where we are. I'm gonna skip this. A ruined house living room, dilapidated living room with haphazardly boarded up windows, rays of light slid through the cracks. Alright, sounds like a dump. Let's see, we got a cigar box over there, and we got a couple of exits. Let's enter the basement.
dark, damp basement. There's a utility box. Alright, let's take a look at what's in there. Open box. Ooh. Cartridges. Okay, never have too many cartridges. I'm gonna take all of that. Take you. Take you. And let's take that as well. Nice. Okay, I might as well take the combination wrench. Scrap that. Use it later. Nice. Alright, let's get going. Nice.